Hello friends, welcome back to Alteneu channel. This is Svetlana. Today I will be sharing a slimline holiday card featuring a modern winter scene and sharing several card making tips along the way. To start off, I made a panel of 3.5 to 8.5 out of a solar white cardstock. And first I will be stamping a tree from the Plentiful Pine stamp set. It's one of my favorite holiday stamp sets from Alteneu. It has two very realistic layered pine trees, and I will be stamping the bigger one. Stamping I will be using my regular size Misty. It's kind of important to use this size for the card idea I'm trying to implement, and later you will see why. For the base layer of the tree, I'm using the Frosty Pink dye ink. Before actual stamping, I'm making sure that the panel is showed all the way into the misty corner, as I will be stamping with this stamp again later. After stamping, I'm leaving the stamp mounted to the lid and rotating the misty 180 degrees. I'm also rotating the panel in the misty base, and for the next several steps, I will be working in this new bottom area. I've covered the top part of the panel with a piece of paper to protect it from possible ink residue on the stamp I left mounted to the lid. And now I'm proceeding to stamping the three layers. For the following layers, I'm using the cotton candy, coral berry, and ruby red dye inks. The three layers are very easy to align and they're quite forgiving. After I've stamped all three layers, I'm returning to the bottom stamp, which is still mounted to the top part of the Misty. Now I'm rotating the Misty and the panel again, and will be using the stamp to cover the tree with clear embossing powder, which will protect the tree from the ink blending I will be doing later. I'm prepping the cardstock using anti-static powder, inking up the stamp with clear embossing ink. And again, I'm making sure that the panel is moved all the way to the corner before stamping. I'm doing this check to make sure that I will stamp the second time exactly to the same spot. Then I'm pouring the translucent pearl embossing powder on top of the tree and heat setting it. This powder has a nice sparkle to it, that's why I opted to use it. But regular clear embossing powder will work here as well. Now I'm moving on to ink blending. I will be blending the ultramarine dye ink using this awesome blending tool from Alteneu. This tool gives the most soft and controlled blending. I'm doing blending along the panel sides, leaving a narrow strip in the middle white. Also, I'm not doing blending all the way to the bottom. Instead, I'm leaving about 1/5 of the panel white as well. I want to make as soft blending as possible, especially when it transfers into the white areas. After picking up the next quote-unquote portion of ink from the ink pad, I'm tapping it onto a scrap piece of paper to remove the excess. It helps to not create harsh strokes or accidentally do excessive blending. You can always layer more blending, but you cannot remove that ink that already got onto the cardstock. Since my tree is covered with heat embossing, it resists the ink from the ink blending, leaving the true pink color of the tree. Next, I will be stamping several branches along the panel sides using a stamp from the Peace on Earth stamp set. I'm stamping the branches using ultramarine and azurite dye inks. And I'm covering each branch with a translucent pearl embossing powder. After stamping each branch in color, I'm inking the stamp with the clear embossing ink, pouring the powder and heat setting it. It's an optional step as I don't really need embossing resist here. I just want branches to have the same sparkles as the tree has. It may look intimidating to do stamping and heat embossing on top for each branch, but I personally find this process therapeutic. I'm using two inks of different shades for branches to add visual dimension to the scene, making some branches look like if they were located behind of others. Also, as I'm stamping, I'm trying not to stamp onto this white strip area in the middle. I'm not worrying about the stamping being symmetrical on both sides, as it never is in the real world. When I finished stamping the branches, I'm going ahead and trimming the panel to make it a bit smaller than the card base. The Peace on Earth stamp set has holiday sentiments for different languages. I will be stamping Zrizdom, which means Merry Christmas in Ukrainian. I'm stamping it using the azurite dye ink and covering with the translucent pearl embossing powder, the same way as I did for other stamped elements. Now my scene is almost ready. I just want to add a couple of finishing touches. First, I'm blending some azurite dye ink right along the panel side edges. Also, I want to add some pearl white ink spray splatters. No winter card can exist without a little bit of fallen snow. I'm using a very fine brush to add splatters. The bigger the brush, the bigger splatters you get, and I want them to be teeny tiny. After the white splatters dried, I adhered the panel onto a white card base, which finished it off. I hope you like the card I showed today. If you have any questions, don't hesitate asking them in the comment area below. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Hello there! Did that video just spark your creativity? And do you want more project ideas and inspiration videos too? Well, if you do, please make sure that you subscribe to the Altenew YouTube channel. Also, make sure that you do click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.